We have a quorum with Ms. Roberts being absent. This time we'll discuss the May 17th regular board meeting agenda items. Dr. Randall.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The first agenda item is we're asking that the Board of Trustees approve out-of-state travel for Lamar Consolidated High School, George Ranch, Foster, Fulshire, Lamar Junior, Antoinette Redding, and Briscoe Junior High, the career in tech ed and non-CTE students that have qualified to travel to the Technology Student Association National Contest in Atlanta, Georgia. The next item, we're asking the board to approve international travel for George Ranch High School Theater to attend 2019 American High School Theater Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland in August of 2019. And they're doing it now so that they can begin their fundraising.
Have they ever had this opportunity
2 years ago.
And do they need an extra chaperone?
I gotta say the chaperones are lining up already.
That sounds like an amazing trip. Congratulations.
The next item, we're asking the board to approve out-of-state travel for Terry High School Rangerettes dance team to travel to Orlando, Florida.
I love this.
Next item, we're asking the board to approve Coyotes as the mascot and navy blue and lime
Is that what
green
you wanted?
as the school colors for Don Carter Elementary School.
That's because they displaced those coyotes that are out there in that field before they built that school. I used to hear them.
There might be a few things.
Well, chameleons and crocodiles on this one.
We're asking, the next item is asking the board to approve an interlocal agreement with Needville ISD for special education services with the district for summer extended year services programming.
How did that?
Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, how did that come about? I mean, it's for one student, correct?
That's correct. They were
approached us?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And they were unable to provide the services, so they pay on top of the ADA that we receive because we are able to offer the autism services for them. And what this does, we've offered the services during the course of the year, but what this does is extend it through the summer so that they won't lose anything over the summer. The next item is approval of nominations for position A and position C for TABSI.
Is anybody going to be interested in that?
TABSI.
Not after they tell me I needed to go through that other training. I'm like, okay.
Well, all right, just be that way then.
Yeah, I know.
Never mind.
They wanted more leadership training.
All right.
And the next item is to consider approval of budget amendment request. Next item is ratify financials and investment report. The next item, we're asking the Board of Trustees to approve the purchase of 10 Chevrolet Tahoe police pursuit vehicles from Caldwell Country Chevrolet in the amount of $448,130. The next item, we're recommending the board approve the order authorizing the conversion of the Lamar CISD variable rates unlimited tax school bonds, Series 2014A, to a new rate period authorizing the preparation of and remarketing memorandum and enacting other provisions related thereto.
Dr. you look like you have a question on your face.
I don't know, just maybe like just a brief, summary.
Terrell's here as well.
Okay.
Of course, we have $90 million in variable rate bonds in the portfolio, and periodically we have to reset the rate, and this is just doing that on August the 15th of 2018. You want to know more about that?
Sure. I like for all of my major ISD clients to have some portion of variable rate bonds. And I believe it's going to be more and more important as the newest tax code has eliminated our ability to do refundings. And having those bonds that mature every 2 years can help us to maybe accelerate some of those payments and create some capacity, as well as maintain our tax rate, and just provides the district with a lot of flexibility. Much like your investment policy, where you have the last goal of your investment policy is really to maximize the interest rate. On the debt side, one of the last goals of variable rates, that it has, is to provide you with the lowest rate possible, because you're on the short end of the yield curve. And we're hoping that this 2-year variable rate roll will give the district an interest rate of probably around 2.25% in today's market. I'm not saying that's the reason that we have variable rates, but it is an attribute of some of that variable rate percentage. The Moody's and Standard & Poor's, the two companies that rate your bonds, don't like for you to have any more than probably 25% in variable rate, and your percentage is much lower than that at just $90 million. Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
The next item is the board to consider approval of the attached resolution expressing intent to finance expenditures to be incurred in the amount not to exceed $20 million. And that gives us an opportunity to do some of these projects now and then be reimbursed once the 2017 bonds are sold.
Okay, so we're kind of borrowing from ourselves.
That is probably a
But-
good way to say it.
For a very short period of time.
Okay.
But we get a great rate.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Exactly.
And you know who you're dealing with.
Yes. And Jonathan is here as well, if you want to touch on that at all.
We're good. Just to see some of the projects get going, that's good.
Okay. What page are we
Page
on? Okay,
59.
page 59, thank you.
59.
We ask that the board approve the order authorizing the issuance of Lamar Consolidated Independent School District unlimited tax schoolhouse bonds for 2018. This is, okay. No questions on that. Then the next item is we ask that the Board of Trustees approve the underwriting firms listed for the upcoming issuance of the schoolhouse bonds. And you have several of those listed, and when the bonds are sold, we will make selections and what makes the best sense with the combination of those folks when we sell the bond. All right. The next item is consider ratification of donations to the district.
Some pretty large donations.
Yes, ma'am. The next item is approval of the resolutions recognizing the hazardous traffic conditions in areas. And that's all of our schools with the exception of Lindsay, and not Lindsay,
With the exception of Carter.
of Carter. And as soon as they get it diagrammed, then they'll provide that to the board. The next item is approval of final payment of $44,786 to Gamma Construction Company for the construction of Bentley Elementary School. Okay, we're on page 141, and we're asking the board to approve the additional services to KCI Technologies for Foster Water Plant upgrades in the amount of $10,000 and authorize the board president to execute the agreement. The next item, we're asking the board to approve Challenge Office Products for the installation of the movable library casework at Carter Elementary in the amount of $39,589.33, and authorize the board president to execute the agreement.
How was that missed? It's just something it was.
It was a miscommunication between us and the architects. It was shown as dotted lines on the drawings, and we thought it was part of the casework, but it was not included in the scope of work. So this process allows us to still pay for it out of project funds.
Okay.
It's the same manufacturer for casework, it's just going through the cooperative.
Thank you.
The next item, we're asking the board to approve the water and sewer fees to the city of Fulshire for Roberts Middle School and approve the payment in the amount of $167,070. Next item, we're asking the board to approve change order number 1 to Micro Integrations for the access controls at Carter Elementary School, Lamar Transportation, Satellite Transportation, Maintenance and Operations, and Brazos Crossing in the amount of $60,554.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's just more that I don't understand. It says this project was funded by 2011 bond,
Surplus funds?
and we're in 2017. I'm not understanding.
This was one of the projects that was a list of projects done by the 2011 available funds. And Vanner had agreed to implement the project and oversee it. And so that's why it is done under available funds. It was not in the 2014 bond project.
But we still had money in the 2011 funds.
That's correct. And one of the information items shows
Shows
each
the
item.
exact amount.
that,
Okay,
goes through that.
all right, I just get it clear, thank you.
Moving forward, will these be put into, like, for Culver, will that just be put into the project itself, so we won't
Yes.
have to keep coming back?
Yes, we want to use Micro Integrations that's doing the work right now, so it's all integrated. They did Bentley and Lindsay back
Okay.
after the fact, and so we'll have them do Carter as well. Culver, will add that to the scope of work of the
Okay.
contractor.
Okay.
Next item, we're asking the board to approve change order number 1 to Seaman Industry for the additional site lighting at Williams, Terry Fieldhouse, Lamar Fieldhouse, Satellite Transportation, and Wertheimer Treatment Plant in the amount of $62,460.
Same reason.
Same thing, same reason.
yeah.
Same reason. The next item, we're asking the board to approve PBK Architects for the design of high school number 6 and junior high school number 6, and authorize the superintendent to begin contract negotiation. Next item, we're asking the board to waive facility usage fees for Powell Point Elementary. As you saw in the letter that they were requesting,
We skipped
they're
one.
wanting to
We-
do.
We skipped one.
Oh, did I?
Let's get
Yeah,
the
the
roof replacement
Roof
project.
replacement.
I am so
152.
sorry.
No problem.
I am just,
152.
all right. We're asking the board to approve the procurement method and authorize the administration to utilize competitive seal proposals as the construction procurement method with the evaluation criteria for Austin Elementary and Seguin Early Childhood Center roof replacement projects. This is one, this project is one of those $20 million.
I have I don't know that we've talked a little bit, but what is the life expectancy for these two schools? How many more years do we have left? It just seems like we're putting a lot of money, especially into Seguin. And I think I had asked you for a
Yes, and
total amount.
I need to get that to Dr. Randall, but I have
Okay.
put that together. But as far as the life expectancy of a building,
Yeah, as far as how old they are and how many more
and
years.
that's kind of just how it's up to kind of how long you want to keep it up. And so, you might design a building for 50 years, but then every time you renovate it, and do things to it, that expands that life expectancy. So it's kind of hard to say, because we have renovated these facilities. Austin, that's an 85.
It opened up in 1990.
1990, that's what it was. And so, but that's generally, if you don't do any renovations to it, 50 years, but most of our buildings will renovate them.
And keep in mind, we've already done quite a bit of renovation at Seguin. Did
That's what I was-
the insides, and really doing the work on the roof actually protects a lot of the investment that we have on the inside, because we don't want it leaking and running what is already
Generally, a
in there.
roof will last another 20 years.
And we also had to do the flooring, the concrete on the outside. Was it cracked?
At Seguin,
Am I thinking of
we
the wrong
added
place?
parking, we added a lot of things at Seguin.
I think what she's getting, I think she's talking about.
Foundation.
New build cost versus how much do you invest in an old building.
At what point?
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe that's something for future discussion, at what point do we say enough?
Right.
The most recent foundation work paint.
At Pink
That's
Pink,
correct.
at
Yes,
Pink
ma'am.
Pink, not at,
Yeah, pink was, that's correct.
That was the foundation. Okay.
That was a failure of the underground piping at Pink.
All right. All right,
But
thank you.
Seguin before that was Crockett, and they remodeled that completely
Right.
in the 80s.
Larger renovation job when it went from Crockett to Seguin.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, but we're getting great use out of it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Now, the PowerPoint discussion, and what they're wanting to do is to provide some extended services to kids during the summer months, and that's what makes it a little different than some of the other requests that we had. Some of the other requests was just to use for recreational types of things, but this is, they are working on some partnerships to try and offer additional services to the kids during the summer, and they're asking to have the fees waived, and only the board can do that.
You're rubbing your chin. You
Oh,
get it.
no, you know.
Sign language says.
It's sign language. That particular building, is this the church that uses it on the weekends? Is this the one that has the signs out in the front? Is this a different group?
It's a different group.
So they have never been there before?
I don't know.
In this
I'm not going
area?
to say that. They're from Kendleton, and.
In fact, one of the former mayors is one of the ones, and I cannot remember her name right now. I'm drawing a total blank. But it's working with this group. So, and they're even, if you notice, they're asking for the, as soon as I can find it, the Worksource Commission to support them on that. Now, if they, for some reason, do not pull it all together, then, of course, they wouldn't have an opportunity to use the facility. But if everything comes together like it should, the board is the only one that can waive the cost.
We've never done this before, have we? Waived a rental fee for use of a facility?
Not that I know of.
Not that I,
So we would kind of be setting a precedent? If we do it for one, do we do it for someone else?
But they're,
That's my concern, and I have several. They want to start June 1st. We're 2.5 weeks away from it. And I have questions about the employees setting it up for 3-year-olds and 16-year-olds in the same facility. And how much liability do we have? Would we have to have the custodians, the security? What all would that entail at no cost to us?
I'm not sure that it is as much of a precedent, primarily because of where it is located. There is no opportunities out there in the Kendleton area. And so that's why they're looking to try to use that facility for that purpose. But that's certainly a decision that the.
I mean, I would have liked to have seen, like, how many students were registered, how many employees were they going to have from the Texas workforce? Because Texas workforce, having qualified people that can give their time to do this 5 days a week, it's not readily available.
Well, the challenge has been they can't move forward without having the facility, and I can't waive the fees for it, and that's why they're asking now.
I'll assume signing up this, they would sign the standard release of liability for us if they're running this program. I mean, there's some form we have to give them to authorize them to use this, and I would assume we'd have that standard waiver of our liability.
We would treat them just like we have anybody else that's using the facility. The only difference is the actual fee itself.
Fee, we still
would
have
not
the
be
same,
assessed.
still have the same paperwork, but no
Right.
fee, they still assume liability.
Yes, sir.
Well, in other words, we don't have anything set up. What are the requirements to waive this fee for an individual? We don't have anything to look at, do we? So if we do this, we're going to have some guidelines, because there's going to be other places they'll come in and start asking us to use the facility for no fee. I'm just concerned about the precedent that it might set up.
But didn't we come up with something, I know that was during school, of waiving fees if they were working with students?
It's after school for 2 hours, and if it's by school, by the school administrators would
Right.
have to do it, and it has to be something for the school and the school students only.
And
yes.
so these are going to be Lamar CISD students, correct?
Well,
Not
not
necessarily.
necessarily 3-year-olds.
Well,
Well, they will eventually be ours if they aren't now. All of those kids that attend there, they go from there to Beasley, and then from Beasley to Lamar Junior and Lamar High School.
Well, the other thing I had too, if these students get math and science reading tutorials, anybody can say that I'm going to tutor these students. But if they really need the help, don't we have the help in the summer schools that we provide during the summertime?
Not in Kennelton.
Those
They have to
students wouldn't
come
be
into-
bussed in?
Where's the closest elementary summer school?
Beasley.
Beasley.
So if there's like needing special programs, and I'm looking at 3, 4s, and 5s, basically are the ones, the only time we would have them in the summer program is if they had a special need, correct? More than likely?
More than likely.
And then the ones that are failing math or something, they would have to tour. I'm trying to figure out what the purpose,
The only students from Beasley that would attend summer school are the pre-KK bilingual LEP students
okay?
and/or the 5th grade SSI students. They would go to summer school. Beasley is not having a summer school.
So what do you do with the special?
They are going to the special ed. Dana, what's it called?
Well, we have different programs, but for that age group, it would be ESY maintenance program at Westendorf.
At Westendorf?
And do they have the blast? Is it?
Yes, but it's not for 3 to 5-year-olds.
Okay.
But we have summer blast and ESY SIM, and we have social skills kids as well.
Okay.
I guess when I read this, I thought it was just them trying to keep those kids active over the summer instead of staying home in their homes and just watching TV or playing video games or whatever they do. It's just trying to keep, and maybe help the parents out. I mean, whatever
And
they,
and because of the distance, the parents are not going to bring them into Beasley, they're not going to bring them into Richmond and Rosenberg. And so they're trying to come up with some avenue for addressing that.
I'm just going to go back to my concern is the precedent to not charge. Because I know you've had other areas or been approached to use a facility for summertime, and it was no. So we don't have any guidelines for this. If we do accept it, we're going to have to set up some type of a guideline for other people coming in and saying,
The only ones I recall were functions where they're bringing kids from everywhere, so I'm kind of inclined that if we're supporting our kids, if these, our kids in that area, and this is a remote area, so we'll bring it to vote on Thursday.
All right, thank you.
The next item is election of board officers, and then the facsimile plates that have to be done. And then the next item, we ask the board to consider approval of purchase of interactive panel projectors, installation hardware, installation services, and project management not to exceed the amount remaining in the 2014 bond, interactive whiteboards and projectors, currently $344,187.39. Next item, we ask the board to approve Discovery Education streaming from Region 11 in the amount of $71,434.80 and authorize the board president and superintendent to execute the agreement. Take both of us on this one.
Andy, did you stop?
We have, for information items, a memorandum of understanding with Oliver Foundation. This is, as in your information pay, it's in the amount of $3,000 to purchase a smoothie blender bike.
We all get to
and this is to help to expose students to fun and innovative ways to eat healthy.
I have one question. Has anybody watched Shark Tank? Does anybody ever watch it? This was on Shark Tank.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
Yeah, it
Yes.
was. And I've seen commercials with this. This is, actually, my daughter has this for events.
Oh, wow.
But they make,
But this isn't costing us any money, correct?
but they use it to make margaritas.
Oh, okay.
You might see teachers. Teachers.
I consider next function of Safari, Texas.
Tell Janice Knight. We'll auction it off.
The next item is an update on SHAC to the board. The Lamar CISD Whole Child Safety and Wellness Model, there will be a presentation for that on Thursday. And then we have our tax collection report. Payment for construction projects. And then we have our monthly projects update bond, 2014 bond. And this is Ms. Kaminsky on page 193 talks about the funding from 2011 available funds that the board has already
We finished some of this
We
project.
approved the primary amount.
Oh,
those
yeah,
others just add
right,
on.
these were
and they
finished.
just add on to that. And then transportation update. And that concludes our information items, Mr. President.
Do we have any audience patrons on our
There are none.
action items? Is there any other business to bring before this board tonight? If not, this meeting stands adjourned at 6:59.
All right. Rock and roll.